So let's be clear. You're not selling the Model Y because the Model Y is either a bad car
God, no.
or you haven't you've had an amazingly good experience.
I love this car.
Your second one you've had.
I literally
right?
love this
It's
car.
just that, it's just the grass is greener on the other side. The Macan EV came out and you're like, bam, I'm hitting that.
Sometimes a
Let's
girl
go.
just has to have what a girl has to have.
Yeah, that's the way. I remember that's what you said to me in college. You know that? Welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Dave, where you've got Dave and Kathy here, and we're going to be taking a little road trip over to see my mom across the river in Rockland County today. And I thought that what we should do is maybe have a little chat about sort of summarizing your time with the Model Y. Get your thoughts, what you've liked, perhaps what you haven't liked, and put it all into context, because something new is on the horizon. It's actually over in Fort Collins, Colorado right now. And, you know, with Thanksgiving coming up, I'm going to be going out there to see Kyle and spend the weekend with him. And I'm going to be getting to see your new car. And then it's going to be brought back. So why don't we take some time today and talk about the Model Y? What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
You got some ideas?
If you ask me questions to prompt me, I'm sure I can think of a few answers.
All right, just to be clear, I did not break the contract.
No, that's true.
She broke the
You
contract.
did not. I did. I was always allowed to.
All right.
I was always allowed.
So, and by the way, if you know anyone who's looking for a slightly used out-of-spec mom Model Y,
I would call it a slightly loved.
slightly,
Model Y.
heavily loved.
Oh, well, I know. Gently used. It was a nice Porsche.
Nice Porsche. Wow.
I'm getting like you. Swirl.
993. Just let us know, but in the meantime, let's have some fun. So for those of you new to the channel, first of all, wow, nice Supra. This is the kind of stuff that happens, you know? It's like, we've always, here, let me throw this camera on over here, maybe you can see it. But, you know, we kind of are squirrelish when we see things. We're like, whoa, whoa.
Well, some things are cool and worthy of our attention.
Do you hear that thing? Anyway, for those of you new to the channel, just to bring you up to speed, this 2023 Model Y, we bought, when did we buy it?
May or June.
June, June of 2023. And you were in a Genesis GV60, and you loved that car.
Love that car. Love that crystal ball in the middle. It was very sporty.
But for many reasons that are documented on the channel, we're going to say, Kathy decided to go for the Model Y. And at the time, you know, the infrastructure in the country with CCS was a big challenge, and the ability to charge that car down at the condo in Florida, where we have a second place down there, it was really challenging. So we brought it home to Tesla, right? And we became a full Tesla family, which was fine. We paid $53,130 for this car, inclusive of the $1,390 delivery and $250 order fee, right? Today, if you order the same exact car, that car is $51,630. So it's come down by only $1,440, right? But remember, one of the catalysts that you were like, okay, let's get the Model Y, was we realized that EVs, the value of used EVs were starting to tank, and they were being driven by Tesla. As a matter of fact, I remember when the Tesla came out on the Model Y and they lowered the price one night with the tax credit, it ended up being $18,500 less.
And that's when I said, yes, let's
get it. So from an economic standpoint, and also from the challenge of the CCS infrastructure, we pulled the trigger on the car. And what's interesting is, since then, the numbers have stayed relatively firm in the last year and a half on the Model Y, which has become the best-selling car, basically, in the world. So one of the things what we also did on this vehicle was we got the acceleration boost on this car, which is a $2,000 option. So it brings the 0 to 60 speed from roughly 4.8 seconds 0 to 60 down to around 4.1 or 4.2 seconds, somewhere in there. it shaves about a half a second off.
It's fast.
You don't really need it, but it's fast. The car is definitely fast. So we are going to be selling this car. We're going to talk about your time with it. But one of the things Kathy said was when she bought the car in June of 2023, she made me sign a contract that
you would not sell my car.
That I wouldn't sell her car. And
because if you know the channel, you know Dave likes to
trade cars.
Yeah.
I have a trader's mentality. So, so I signed up for it and I said that's fine. But there was a technicality, which was that you, if you chose to, could.
Yeah, if it was my choice.
If it was your choice.
And I decided I wanted something else,
right,
I would just go get something else.
Right.
And of course that time has come.
Fast forward to March of 2024, we go to the New York Car Show. Kathy sees the Macan EV, which you've been waiting for a long time.
For it. If it had come out when it was supposed to, I probably would not have had the Model Y at that time. But it wasn't ready, it wasn't coming out. The Model Y dropped in price, and I just thought, let's go back to Tesla because I love it. But now, that beautiful Macan EV is.
And also remember the spy shots. You weren't thrilled with the spy shots on the Macan EV. But when you saw it in person, right, in that ice gray, that was the turbo launch color.
That's right.
You were like, okay, great. So we ordered one of those, and it's now come in. And so the car is out in Colorado with Kyle. We took delivery out of there because we're close with Porsche Fort Collins, and we like to give them their business. We paid full price. We didn't get any special deal on it.
No, but they're very good to Kyle in that they let him take cars and test drive them and things like that.
Yeah.
So and that way he could take my new Macan and get some testing on it before I take possession of it.
Yeah, and so far, he's taken delivery. That video is up on the channel. Colton on the Out of Spec Detailing channel did a first wash of the vehicle. I wasn't super thrilled with the paint, the way that the paint was on it. Check that out. I don't know. It's not enough to like totally bum me out, but we are leasing this car that's coming up, that you're getting. And we're leasing it for 39 months. So not only does
that's a real contract.
That's a real contract, and that's something Kathy's super happy about. 39 months, 15,000 miles a year. And the idea about leasing is that we're really, when you're spending $90,000 or $100,000 for an EV, you're going to take a bloodbath on the resale value, in my opinion. I think. I mean, you look at the values of Taycans that are out there. Shmi just did Shmi 150. He just did I don't know, 4 months ago, a review of the value of his Taycan Turbo S that he bought, and you can buy those things so cheap now. It's crazy. So we decided to lease it 39 months, max out the warranty on the car, and we're excited about it. I think the only thing that we wish, or at least I wish we would have gotten on your car, was the heads-up display, because it was a $2,600 option. We're like, we don't need that. You have a dash in front of the steering wheel. You don't really need to have that heads-up display. But when I went to Stuttgart and drove the Macan 4S and the rear-wheel drive, both variants had the heads-up display, and it's sick. It's crazy good. But whatever.
My car, and I didn't think it was that important.
And not only that, you see what she's wearing right now: sunglasses, polarized sunglasses.
That was the final decision on that.
And polarized sunglasses and heads-up displays don't mix very well.
Right.
And you don't like to drive at night. No. But if it were my car and I were to redo it again, I would get it with the heads-up display. Just saying. All the other specs that we have on it. What's great is, Kathy, a lot of people were teasing you about not getting the Bose stereo.
Tease away.
Kyle
and
Colton were the #1 teasers on that. How could you get a Porsche Macan?
See, I don't succumb to peer pressure.
No, you don't. No. And of course, Kyle, first thing he does is gets in the car, checks out the stereo. He's like, "Hey, Mom,
not so bad.
It's not so bad." So the Bose gets vindication. The Bose gets a boominess out of that rear subwoofer, and And now you have all the extra room in the back where there's no subwoofer. So high five on that one. You win. I think if you're going to go with the high-end stereo system in the Macan EV, go with the Burmester system.
Well, I also didn't want to lose the space in the back.
But that system, they have a higher-end system than the Bose one.
Well, it's nice to have choices.
Right. All right, so let's talk about the Macan. I'm sorry, let's talk about the...
let's talk about this car.
This car. Tell me how you've enjoyed this car and what you've been using it for, and how is it to live with every day?
It is so easy. I love the Model Y. I will always love the Model Y. Probably at some point in the future, after 39 months, maybe I go back.
Really?
I would never not consider going back to a Tesla.
Okay.
I find it to be so easy to drive. And of course, because of the supercharging network, super easy, especially if you're new to EVs. This is I think, the way to get into an electric vehicle. But I've had a lot of things that I like about this Model Y, which is the majority of my thoughts, which I think don't even need any explanation. I just think it's so easy. I think it's a good-looking car. I like the size of it. It's very versatile if you are just one person driving it on your commute to work every day, or if you're a family with 2 kids, dog, whatever, right? It's just an easy car.
Preconditioning the cabin in the summer and the winter. The biggest problem with that is you forget to do it.
No, I don't. I started remembering it.
Oh, you started?
Suddenly got cold out again. I remember now.
No, you come out there, oh, darn, I forgot to precondition.
Yeah, well, I started remembering this week.
Yeah.
Got cold.
Yeah. There is a way to set a pre-schedule so that, at whatever time, 7 a.m., you'll always have the car warmed up. The problem with you is that you leave work at different times, right?
Right, so I can't do it then.
You can't do it then, right?
So I just have to remember before I get
We need a little AI, little bot that can go into your brain and then tell
you're about to leave.
Yeah, you're about to leave, right? We'll have to work on that. What about you owned a 2021 Model Y that you ended up getting rid of, and you ended up getting a gas-powered Macan.
Because I've always loved the Macan.
Right, that was your second one. But the suspension on this car, I think a lot of people believe...
Find it too bouncy.
Right? The thing is, the question is, did this feel, the 2023 Model Y, feel like a better, smoother suspension than 2021? What do you think?
I don't even remember the 2021. I can't answer that.
I think that the honest truth is there is a bit of a difference, but if you're in a 2021 Model Y and you think, okay, I'll get a 2023 or 2024 for the suspension being smoother, don't waste your money, right? Because that's not good. So you've got heated seats.
Yeah, and you can't beat the screen on this Tesla. It's just great. I can see everything, which says a lot.
Right. You like the screen.
I like the screen.
And the Porsche is more conventional, so that's going to be interesting for you.
We'll see how I do with that.
It's a little bit of a different setup, but you're used to that. Let's talk about driving assistance on this car. You drive to work every day. Probably 25 miles, 20 miles one way.
Probably. Yeah.
A lot of traffic, but you zip because you're going northbound on 95. When everybody who's going south to New York City, you're flying by them.
Right.
Do you use autopilot or do you drive?
I drive myself.
You drive?
Yes.
Okay, so all the ADAS and all that, you don't really...
It's wasted on me. This really fantastic technology literally is wasted on me.
Well, okay. So
I only did the FSD one time, and that was last weekend, because I knew that I was switching out of this car, and I said I really should just try it all by myself.
Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that, because I remember I had to go and do some auditions for a festival in the area, and it was very
Kathy's
early.
an orchestra teacher, a high school orchestra teacher, so she...
Got a lot of students coming in to audition for this big festival. Yeah. Anyway, I had to be there at 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning, and instead of taking 95, which is my typical commute, I went over on the Merit, which is really just prettier and calmer, and nobody was on the road. So I just said, let me try FSD. So I did it on the back road all the way over to the Merit.
Okay.
And I didn't just sort of sit around and do this. I mean, my hands were close to the wheel.
Yeah.
And the only time I took it out, I was afraid to get on the on-ramp with FSD.
Okay.
I was a little afraid. So I took it out for that. I went on the ramp, and then I did the Merit all the way back down.
And did it lane change for you?
No. Nobody was on the road. I just, I don't think there was a need.
Okay.
I might have freaked out if it did. It's one of the things that
Right.
I wasn't used to. But honestly, I was proud of myself. I did it. I experienced it.
Okay.
I felt comfortable with it.
But
So now I can at least say, yes, I've done it.
but in your heart, you're a driver,
I'm a driver.
right? Which is, are you going to miss one pedal driving?
No.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like you.
Yes, Dave. I know what you mean. I know what he means.
I'm bruised.
Jeez.
Past the Band-Aids. So you agree with Porsche's philosophy that they don't need to offer one pedal driving?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't think you need one pedal
Okay.
driving.
Well, I do. Porsche, I would like it.
Yeah, and probably everybody else is like you. Again,
I'd like an option. I'd like an option there. But that's okay.
It's fine.
All right. You don't have cooled seats in this car. Do you care?
No, I hate cooled seats.
You hate cooled seats.
I hate cooled
Okay.
seats.
You don't have massaging seats in this car.
Well, so I have like 4 things negative about the Model Y, but I think it's a general Tesla thing. So everything, I mean, you know how much I love this car, and I would have kept this car if my dream car wasn't available.
So let's be clear. You're not selling the Model Y because the Model Y is either a bad car
God, no.
or you haven't you've had an amazingly good experience.
I love this car.
Your second one you've had.
I literally
Right?
love this
It's
car.
just that the grass is greener on the other side. The Macan EV came out and you're like, bam, I'm hitting that.
Sometimes a
Let's
girl
go.
just has to have what a girl has to have.
Yeah, that's the way. I remember
just had to have
that's
that.
what you said to me in college. You know that?
Don't digress. So anyway, there's 4 things that I think Tesla actually could try to elevate. So the first being, and was one of the things that reminded me why I like being in a Porsche better, I really like to have massaging seats,
Okay.
and I can't get them with a Tesla. And I do sit, even though I zip up and down, there's a whole lot of construction on 95, and some days I'm stuck in one spot for 40 minutes.
I know.
And if I'm in a car too long, it does affect my back. So massaging seats, would love to have them in a Tesla.
You know, they're not even available in the Model S or X.
Yeah, I know that.
And like put them in those in the
Yeah.
expensive rigs, right?
Definitely.
So
But whatever. So that's the one negative. The second negative is just sort of about the seat in general, and I don't think many people have this issue, but somehow my head, right? Well, your head does, yeah. I worry that in an accident there is so much room between your head and the back headrest that I think that could be dangerous. But I found this great pillow, right? That everybody, if you've been watching our videos, I've had this for years, and this just sort of has made up that difference.
yeah,
So
not sponsored, but it's called GG, G-I-G-I. Everybody asks,
Not sponsored.
but there's a bunch of them online. Just
Yeah.
pick one that you like. It's a neoprene.
Right.
Here, show them what it looks like.
It's so nice, and let's see, where's the head? Yeah, this way, right? Nice and squishy.
Yeah, it's-
thing. Yep. So anyway, it seems to take up that space that I'm looking for in the car. And then also if there were an accident, right, I'm like falling onto this, which is usually over here. You've taken my car today.
Right.
Anyway, so those are just 2 things about the seats that I think, could be better.
Okay.
The third thing is, while I love this glass roof,
Yes.
love it, it doesn't open. And I'm a fresh air kind of girl. So when we were doing the Porsche, I think that was an option, right? Sunroof or not sunroof?
It's a standard item in the for the U.S. spec cars.
Oh, so I didn't option that, but I'm getting that.
Yes, you are. It comes with a glass roof that opens.
Right.
It also comes with an air suspension, and the ride in this car is not great. I will tell you that in my Model 3, the new refresh, the Highland, whatever you want to call it, much smoother than this Y, my car. And I just swapped over to the Snows, the 18-inch Martians and the Nokian tires. But even with the 20-inch forged wheels that come on the Model 3, it's a smoother, softer ride than this. This thing's firm.
It's firm, but you know what? Honestly, it has never bothered me.
No.
Like that's not just something that bothers me.
Right. Okay.
And I have one other minor thing that I wish Tesla could improve.
What's that?
The thing I complain about all the time. I need the grab bar up here. I need that. So yeah, there's one up here by the door handle. But I think just being such a traditionalist, when you're used to driving and there's a panic situation, your hand automatically wants to come up. And there's nothing here to grab. And that's an easy fix.
All right. You're forgetting about what I would say has been the biggest downfall of this car for you, which you may have experienced at the Sono Norwalk Mall.
Yeah, that's true.
So why don't you tell the audience about that?
Yeah, so, and I think probably because maybe I had come out of the Genesis. I remember I had this feature in the GV60, but Tesla does not have these sensors in the front. So
the back.
I may or may not have tapped a little tiny pole in a parking lot because I didn't know that I was that close.
Right.
To it.
Right, and I think that is.
And you even went back to double check that I wasn't just being me.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tesla has taken the stance that they don't need LiDAR, they don't need radar, they don't need those ultrasonic sensors or whatever they're called. It's vision only. And the problem is the camera in this car is up here. There's not cameras in the bumpers, so that you can't see when something's in front of you. And while the graphics on the screen are incredibly good,
especially I think I have FSD now.
Yeah, you do.
The graphic is crazy.
You do have FSD. Yeah. It actually runs out. We had a 30-day free trial.
Right. That's why I used it last week. I said just in case.
By the way, you know, if you buy a Tesla right now, take delivery in the fourth quarter of this year, they're giving 3 months of free FSD for, I think, Model 3 and Model Y owners, plus free supercharging for 3 months. So go out and get it if you're in the market now. I would say also because you know you've got a sure thing with if you qualify.
That's what we're following.
Yeah, Model Y. It's interesting. It's a Massachusetts plate, but it's not an EV plate or a VE plate, depending on which it is. But all right, so vision only was a problem. We had a little tap, little situation.
Yeah.
And
actually, I wasn't moving. I was just in a parking lot, pulling into a space incredibly slowly.
So for anyone who's interested in buying this car, that is the only issue that happened with it.
Which you had fixed. You don't really.
I tried to fix it myself. Couldn't do it. Hired a professional. You know, they had a heat cone that came over and massaged it. It's fine. It's completely fine. But you know, it was just one of those things. It was just a little. You could have lived with it. It was a little blemish, a little bump on the. But yeah. So anyway, I think the Model Y has been a great car for you, for us.
Fantastic. I mean, it's been great on road trips. We've had this thing stuffed with our stuff heading down to Florida and back. It has a lot of room, a lot of front space.
So we've had the car for a year and 5 months, and you've got 20,840 miles on it. And so you've driven this car a lot.
I think it's a year and 6 months.
Year and 6 months, okay. Year and a half.
It's been a solid year and a half.
Year and a half, 20,000, almost basically 21,000 miles. The car spent the summer
in Florida.
Right. This past summer.
Not out in the sun, underneath a garage, in a garage.
Yep. And you know, the road trips are fine. There's not a problem.
They're easy.
It charges, you know, it's got an okay curve, max of 250, 50%, you're pulling 105 kilowatts. But it's a no-brainer to charge. Your daily driving though, what do you do to charge this car?
I just charge it home, and only maybe once, maybe twice a week, because I don't run out of juice. So I make sure there's enough.
Was that a shot?
Zing.
Just for the record.
It had to be done.
Just for the record, I have not run out of juice
I know that.
once as the driver.
I know that.
Kyle did the first time. Andreas did the second.
Calm down. Stop throwing people.
And Alex did the third. I may have influenced their decisions as to what to do, but I wasn't driving. So, yeah, road trips and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not when you're with me, because I won't allow it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, charge at home. If we're on a road trip, easy. You know, you all know the Tesla network is second to none.
Yeah. All right. So let's just sum this up. Basically, you're selling the Model Y, but your message to anyone that's thinking about buying a Model Y or has a Model Y,
it's great.
Great car.
Great.
I mean,
car.
It's an amazing car. Model 3, same way. If you like it, buy it. Don't sell yours because Kathy's selling hers.
Oh, yeah.
She has fallen in love with this Macan. Had she not, we would be keeping this car.
Absolutely.
And it is a great car. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I think that's it. So, fast forward, you're excited about getting your new car.
I can't wait. I'm hoping it's in the driveway by next weekend.
We've got to put this puppy up for sale. Most likely, I'll put it on eBay. But in the meantime, probably in the next week or two, I would think, I'll put it up. We were offered $29,100 from Carvana. So I do want to get a little bit more than wholesale, because wholesale, they'll just come pick it up and take it away.
Sure.
Right? Carvana doesn't care about the fact this car has acceleration boost. That has a value. It's probably not worth $2,000, but it's a differentiator for someone who is thinking about buying a Model Y. If you want to buy a Model Y today, they are offering brand new 0% financing. So, you know, there's some cheap money out there being subsidized to Tesla, so keep that in mind. But if you're thinking about saving $17,000 on a, let's call it a car that has been well documented, you know, consider this one. Reach out to me, and maybe we can cut a deal. I think it's worth every penny of 34, but we'll see what the market says,
sure.
Right? And it'll be up on eBay, and if a viewer buys it, that's great. If a viewer doesn't buy it, that's okay too. So, you know, I think that's kind of where we're at right now. So one thing also I want to point out is that when we test drove this car, do you remember when we test drove the Model Y Performance?
Yes.
And that had the bigger wheels and a little bit, because I just happened to see one over there. That car was actually pretty smooth, smoother than I thought, definitely firmer. But, you know, if you like the look of that Model Y Performance, and if you really do want that extra oomph,
this is the
there it is right there in front of us, yeah. I mean, that, especially in white, looks really good with that carbon fiber spoiler and the little bit beefier tires. You know, it's definitely a daily, livable daily driver car, and they're great. But you really don't need to go any faster than this. This thing is fast, and
nobody beats me off a red light. Nobody.
Even if I'm next to you in my Model 3?
No, I would beat you.
Oh,
I have the ambition to win.
we gotta test that out. All right, well, listen, good luck to you. I'll be flying out to Denver on Wednesday night, and I'm either gonna drive the car back or we're gonna have it shipped back. I'm not sure yet.
Right.
I may road trip the Macan back.
No French fries in the seats.
No French fries. Onion rings.
No food.
No food tour?
No food tour in my
No food tour?
No.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it should be great. And, you know, good news is Model Y's been a great experience, and we're moving on to our next rig. And maybe this is your car. Let us know. Thanks again for watching another episode of Out of Spec Dave. Kathy, I'm really excited for you.
Thanks, I am too. Again, I just want to reiterate, this car has been fantastic. I do love the Model Y.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.